Hey, welcome to your next best step with Brek Cockrell, the locker room for purpose-driven leaders. This is where we slow down, reflect, and we take our next best step through real stories, practical strategies, and rooted leadership wisdom. Thank you so much for tuning in, and remember, even the best leaders need a coach in their corner.
Hey, if someone said your name in a room that you were not in, what would they say about you? Not your title, not your output, not what you produce, but no, what would they say about you? That's the question we're going to be talking about today on your next best step in the leader's locker room. Welcome today. Had a chance to do a workshop this week with an organization I've been working with for the last several years, and we are building out and helping them build their leadership bench, which I commend the leadership there. Instead of trying to always hire outside leaders, like, hey, why don't we develop the leaders within? And so we've been doing a monthly like workshop, but it's not really a workshop. I call it a transformational conversation because becoming a better human isn't about training. It isn't a workshop. It's a conversation with ourselves and with each other. And it's constant. It's a conversation we have to continue to have all of our lives. And so that's the room I was in this week. And I thought, man, this would be so good to take it out of that room and here on the podcast today. And we were talking about we had talked about how to lead yourself better. We had talked about how to communicate communication that connects. And this month we talked about building our brand on purpose. And your brand is not the image we're hoping to create on IG, LinkedIn. No, it's not a logo. No, it's not a tagline. It's not a font. Your brand is your character, and it shows up in the behaviors people experience across from you and next to you every single day. That's what we're going to jump into for the next few moments today. Today, we're asking the question that sits underneath basically everything that we talk about. What's it like on the other side of you? Everything depends on trust. Here's the thing about brand. Your real brand, the one that actually matters, it's not something you design. It's something that we reveal every single day through our patterns. You already know about the E.D.O.T, everything depends on trust, but I want to share with you the framework that I use all the time with leaders. And it's basically taken E.D.O.T, and it's just this: examine, define, own, and trust. We got to examine what are people actually experiencing on the other side of you, not what you intend, but what they experience. D, we define it. What do you want to be known for specifically? And then we have to own it. Are your daily behaviors building your brand or busting it? And then trust. Trust grows when who you say you are matches what people experience. That's what we're going to talk about through this whole episode today. So let's get into it. But before we do, I want to give you kind of the pillar of what we're going to be talking about today, and it's from a quote that John Maxwell shares about your brand, and he ties it back to our character, which that's what we're going to do today. And John Maxwell says this: your character is what you really are. Your reputation is merely what others think you are. Let me say that again. Your character is what you really are. Your reputation is merely what others think you are. And there's a tie-in to to both of those things. This episode is not about managing your image. It's about closing the gap between what you want people to think and what they actually experience. That gap is where trust lives or dies. So here's the principle I want you to sit with today. People don't experience your intentions, they experience your patterns, your behaviors. You can intend to be patient, you can intend to follow through, but if the pattern people experience is something else, that's your brand. That's my brand, whether we meant it to be or not. So let's do a quick self check. I'm not going to walk through, I have a whole 15 question assessment that's more of a mirror for you. I'm not going to go through all 15 of those, but let's look at four of those questions that we can ask ourselves. A little bit of a self awareness check. Clarity. Can I clearly describe the reputation I want to build in one sentence right now? Let me ask it again. Clarity. Can I clearly describe the brand, the reputation I want to build in one sentence right now? C. Here's the other C. Consistency. Could the people closest to me predict how I'd respond, not on Taco Tuesday, but on crazy Wednesday and Thursday when the pressure hits? Would people that are closest to me predict how I would show up under pressure? And here's the third C, credibility. When I say I'm going to do something, do I actually do it without being reminded? Just a quick yes, no on a scale of 1 to 5. Five being incredible. Yeah, yes, one being not so much. So here's the question, clarity. Can I clearly describe the reputation I want to build? Yes. It's a little elusive. Okay, we got some work to do. Consistency. Could the people closest to me predict how I'd respond under pressure? Is that a strong? Yeah, and maybe it's not so good, but they can definitely predict it, right? And then credibility. When I say I'm going to do something, do I actually do it? That's self-awareness. That's paying attention to the things that we need to pay attention to. And then trust. Do the people around me know what to expect from me in the good and in the bad? However you answered, it's not a grade. That's information. That's intel that you and I need to have. That's the starting line for us today. So we talked about examine. Here's the D, define. Once you've examined what's actually happening, the next move is naming what you want to be known for. Not your title, not your resume, not your reputation, though that's important. Like I'm not disrespecting reputation. I've talked about it. We have to develop our character, our values first. Then that way, that's the reputation that we want to develop. Here's the filter I use, and I used it in the room this week. It's the 3 C's. I've already talked about it. Clarity, consistency, credibility. Clarity, can I name it? What do I want to be known for? In plain, simple English. Consistency. Do people experience the version of me repeatedly, not just on my good days? Credibility. Have I earned trust through my actions, not just my intentions? Here's a leadership brand statement I'd encourage you to finish. I gave the room the opportunity to do that. I'll say this really slowly and I'll give it to you. Fill in the blanks as you're listening. Maybe you're walking or driving or whatever. Maybe you can come back to this. But here's the leadership brand statement that you want to be really clear on. I want to be known as someone who fill in the blank because people can count on me to fill in the blank. I'll give you an example. I want to be known as someone who follows through on my commitments. That's the blank, because people can count on me to do what I say I'm going to do. Simple. right? We need clarity. We need a reminder, right? This is so important for us. Here's another example. I want to be known as someone who brings calm during challenging situations because people can count on me to respond rather than react. It's a little bit of an example. So here's here's what I challenge you, like on the clarity. Can you name what it is you want to be known for? Here it is, the leadership brand statement. I want to be known as someone who fill in the blank. Make sure it's not too long. Make sure it can fit on a t-shirt, right? I want to be known as someone who fill in the blank because people can count on me to fill in the blank. Okay. Oh, own. This is part of of really the episode today and in our workshop that always kind of gets quiet in the room because this is where it stops being theory. Here's the own principle. Your reputation isn't built by what you believe about yourself. Let me say that again. Your reputation isn't built by what you believe about yourself. It's built by what others repeatedly experience. Here's a little contrast. I have more than this, but I'm going to bring my this up here and hopefully you can see that. Here is what we call the brand builder and the brand buster. The brand builder and the brand buster. Uh, here we go. This is the follow through right here. Follow through. That's a brand builder. You're going to follow through what you say you're going to do. We're going to do it. The brand buster is over promising and under delivering. A brand builder is owning our mistakes. None of us bat 1,000. We're going to make mistakes. We're not going to get it always right. A brand buster, always looking to blame others, giving excuses, dismissing, defending. Brand builder. I love this. Be curious right here. BC. That's what BC leadership is all about. Being curious. Be curious. Brand buster, assuming motives about people, telling stories that you don't really know is true, just what we make up about other people. Here's another brand builder that's so important. Communicate early. Talking about communicating early. Hey, if I said I'm going to do something and I tell Scott, hey, Scott, I'm going to have this by Friday at 3 o'clock and it's Wednesday at 3, and I know there's no way I'm getting that to Scott by Friday. I don't wait till Friday and hope he doesn't ask for it. And maybe I get the extra weekend and I show it to him Monday. No, I'm building my brand, my reputation. So I'm going to say, hey, Scott, I know I told you Friday. That's not probably going to happen. I just want you to know. That way, in that gap between what we say we're going to do and what actually happens, we put trust, not suspicion. Suspicion is going silent. Communicate early is trust. This builds suspicion. Right there, going silent. I hope he doesn't notice. I hope she doesn't notice, right? Here's the last one we'll talk about is staying consistent. That's a brand builder. You know what's a brand buster? Being unpredictable. People never knowing, like, wow, is it going to be the good BC today, or is it going to be the scrambled BC today? Is it going to be the dependable one? Is it going to be the loud one? Is it going to be, man, it's so important to be able to be predictable. And then here's what I want you to do today. And you can do this in your car, walking, wherever you're listening right now. Ask yourself two questions. Which brand builder behavior that we just talked about is currently strengthening your reputation, strengthening your brand? Which one is it? Like, man, and I asked this in the class. There were several people like, hey, I'm consistent. I follow through. I try to own my mistakes. So which one is it? And let's be honest, which brand buster behavior might be quietly undermining your reputation, your brand, right? This isn't something to fix. This is something to notice and to pay attention to, right? This is what we own. And then when we do that, trust can happen. Here's the big idea I want to leave with you today as we wrap up. Trust is not built in big moments, it's built in small moments. Practice consistently until people know what to expect from you. And when people know what to expect from you, guess what? Trust grows. Hey, that's what we're talking about today. So here's the challenge. I gave this to a room full of folks, leaders this week. I'll give it to you today. This month, pick one brand builder behavior, just one, right? Which one? And practice it every single day. Write it down. Put your leadership brand strategy statement. Put it on a post-it note. Put it by your computer. Put it by your phone. Put it on the back of your phone, whatever that is, so that you can be reminded. And pay attention to one brand builder that you can do, and do it every single day over the next 30 days. If it's keep every commitment you make, then keep it, right? Then this is the hard one. Ask one trusted person in your life. Give them the leadership brand statement, and ask them, is that how you experience me really? Most of the time? Really? And find out what it's really like. And hopefully that gap is smaller than you think. And if there's a big gap in that, hey, it's no reason to, there's no shame in that. This is what you need to know. Like, hey, let's shorten that gap between what we think and what people experience. Yeah, that's what we got to do this month. So, hey, let's go back to where we started. If someone said your name in a room you weren't in, what would they say? That's not a marketing question. That's a trust question, because everything depends on trust. Hey, two quick things before I let you go. If today landed for you, I write a weekly email called Thursday Throwdown. It's leadership lessons rooted in ancient scripture, wisdom that's held up over thousands of years, and it still applies today. It goes out every Thursday. If you'd like that, you can go to bcleadership.com. That's bcleadership.com, and you can subscribe there. And then if anything we talked about today resonated with you, if you're sitting there thinking about the gap between your image and your integrity, your character, and maybe with your teams, man, I'd love to have a conversation and see what we can do together. Hey, I'm Brek Cockrell. This has been your Next Best Step, the Leaders Locker Room. Hey, let's go out and take our next best step.